Hey guys, today's video is more of a casual one. It's not going to be my normal kind of long length guide format. I've had a bunch of people asking me to just show where my account's at and to talk a bit about where I am in the game, what I'm up to, yeah, how my account's progressing pretty much. So more chilled, not really going to be incredibly heavily edited, just to show you what's going on. So I've got a bunch of heroes, so I guess we'll go over my roster and who I'm focusing on. Then I'll show you some of my auto teams and maybe my guild boss a bit. And besides that, we'll talk about what I'm progressing on now next and what I'm putting my efforts into. So as for my hero roster, you can see I've been fortunate with my Zillitu and Salazar pools. A2 Zillitu, A3 Salazar. I have a Setram at A1. I have Hex, Eloin, a whole load of Zilluses I pulled 5 copies, so A4. And then I have a smattering of other heroes as well. And yeah, there's a bunch I'm obviously not working on. This something I'm probably going to do that it's one of those things where you do as I say, not as I do. I'm actually planning to sell both my Azure copies, my Shamir, and my regulars, which I don't think is a very good thing to do. And I haven't done it yet because basically I've spent a bit of money. I have had content creator rewards. I'll get into how much I have so you have an idea of what I've got as my, my bonus resources. But I'm not whaling excessively. And sometimes, though very, 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 very rarely, these soul stones pop in the shop. And I'm holding those legendaries in case it's ever like a legendary lord, like a Morrigan or a King Haas or something. I would rather get them to A1 than I would have A1 Azure. There are people who have found uses for Azure and who think Shamir is pretty decent in certain content, but I don't need to try them. I have plenty of good heroes that fulfill the roles. I have Brokir for a defender. I don't really need that kind of... So yeah, basically I don't feel like I need these dupes. I mean, even Regulus A1 is pretty good, but I'm just not lacking for that kind of stuff. So it might be a mistake, but I'm probably going to do that at some point if there is ever a good drop in the shop. But I'm not going to sell them until that happens, because then it gives me time to change my mind if this is a really dumb decision. So that's my roster. There's a bunch of heroes I'm kind of missing. I don't have a Silas, which has actually been one of the most painful ones I'm missing. He would make my Gear Raid 3 progression so much easier. And he would even help in Gear Raid 1, believe it or not. And he would help a lot in my guild boss. So I really do want a Silas. I already have the Vienna for the Pledge of Yore, or the Shackles of Marriage. Other than that, I would really like a Valeria. Ever since they buffed her, she's actually pretty insane and should be really good in Guild Boss. So those are the two main heroes I'm watching out for, but mainly Silas. As for the epic heroes, Deimos, Idril, Pyros, then I've got my 2 epic HP healers. I have my Olag for tanking, Lunaria for Gear Raid 3, though I think I've pulled most of her gear off. And I have Maul, who's actually just it's so easy to underestimate this guy, but he does so much work. I beat Nightmare Void Rift, which we'll get into in a minute, and I used him in the final stage. He was a huge help. I had the North faction as my bonus on Void Nightmare last week, and Lasir. I used Maul to handle the entire right side by himself. He just one-shot all the uses. He dealt with the spawns. He was so good at that. He was super good on the right side. He killed all the summoners. I had a Dolores on him, and I had a King Haas Lord boosting him. But still, this is Nightmare Void Rift, the final boss, Lasir, and he was just absolute MVP. So it's so easy to keep thinking I'm beyond using Maul, but I don't think anyone's ever beyond using Maul. So besides that, Dolores is of course super important. I've got her in Invigoration, though it is a really bad set. I need to farm some more because this is atrocious. It should have good attack subs and it should have some more rage regen, but I mean, I just haven't farmed a great deal at the moment. And then yeah, the rest of it's kind of standard stuff. So that's my roster at the moment. In terms of my summoning, just so you know what I've done, I have summoned a bunch on this account. I have pulled 3,335 summons. My last legendary was at 3,292, so I'm something like 43 summons into pity right now. How I got all these summons? Well, I've spent less than 300 quid. I've spent 200 and something, or near 300 pounds since global launch happened. I spent about 10 pounds on Forerunner. So I'm traditionally a free-to-play player. This is the most I've ever spent on any gacha. Even combined across every gacha I've ever played, I've never spent this much. And honestly, I don't intend to spend any more than this. I don't even pay for the privilege pass anymore. I'm kind of really winding down. For me personally, I find spending really sketchy and it makes me nervous because I don't know where it goes. So personally, I stay away from spending as much as I can. And I'm already at either nearly 300, which is really past my comfort limit already. So I don't want to spend any more than that. Besides that, obviously, nearly 300 quid is not going to get you this many summons. I've, of course, had content creator rewards. It's always controversial when I bring it up, but I personally value being transparent. I don't want to pretend I got all the stuff I have just for free. When I started, I carried 2 months of content creator rewards from the previous server to this server. I asked them to give it to me in codes, which they're not doing anymore, by the way. But yeah, they gave me the codes for 2 months of content creator rewards. I think it was May and June, and that came to about 30,000 diamonds. And since then, I've probably in total gained probably 60, 70,000 diamonds. So I think in total, I've been given like 100,000 diamonds. Almost all of it I have binned into summons. So I didn't keep... I was pretty silly of me, but I wanted to do it for the sake of having more interesting stuff to play with rather than having gear, just because it's more fun to have stuff to mess about with and to experiment and make videos. So I just blew it all into summons, which is why I have such a high summon count. But honestly, I had to hit pity so many times. So I didn't have the greatest rates, but overall, I have a pretty good roster. I'm quite happy with it. I have 2 legendary lords. I have Morrigan and I have King Haas. I don't think they're the better lords to have, but they're definitely pretty good. They definitely help me a lot, especially in Void Rift. Lords seem to do a lot of work. Anyway, that is pretty much the summoning and the heroes I've got. I'll walk you through my gearing and then we'll talk about some of the content I'm working on and where I'm stuck and what I'm doing. So my gearing is pretty shaky because I spent so much resource farming artifact material raid. So I have a bunch of maxed artifacts. Some of them are kind of experimental. And yeah, I basically just farm loads of artifact material raid because I was really hoping to get a tier of Starlight for my Vienna and Carmet so I could push for stage 21 in Gear Raid 1. That didn't happen, but I spent nearly a month farming artifact material raid. So I got a bunch of artifacts to use, and they're kind of spread out across random people. I just built random stuff that seemed kind of interesting. And yeah, that's where so much of my stamina went while progressing. Man, I keep having heroes ungeared. I swear, all of my autos in Guild Boss are just going to be wrecked by me doing really atrocious autos. I really need to sort myself out. Whatever. Okay, now he's got a gear piece on. I wonder how much of my autos are just bricked by this. Anyway, yeah, my gearing is not great. I mean, it's obviously not bad. It's just I'm not able to get the right substats. So I'm lacking crit rate on almost everyone. So I'm 9% missing on Zilla 2 is actually quite a lot. My Salazar is not doing too bad, actually. I'm quite happy with Salazar. Good crit rate, good crit damage, good attack speed, and some rage regen with a pretty good set as well. So I'm happy with Salazar. My Setram as well is not really the ideal set for Setram. I think you would rather have him in the Infernal Roar set, but I just don't have much of that gear. So at the moment, he's in this set with too much crit damage. Normally, 2 pieces of crit damage is actually quite good for Guild Boss, but as Setram actually gains crit damage himself from his own passive, I don't think he would need more crit damage from gear. I think he would probably lean towards 2 attack and 1 crit damage. I haven't tested, this is just a theory, so I think this gear is not ideal on him. Then I have my Hex, so maybe I should swap their gear around actually. He's in Infernal Roar, but this is not a great set, so some of these pieces are pretty rough, as you can see, but hey, you know, this is what I got to work with at the moment. Eloin is, of course, in Invigoration. Zillus is basically unbuilt. Vienna is in Curse. Carmet is in Curse, and then everything else is kind of just random gear that's sitting around. I have Volker in a random Invig set, same of Wrath, just because I can use them as boosters in Guild Boss, so they're both placed just to give Invigoration to someone nearby. So that's kind of all I wanted to show you on gearing. I'm going to mess about with Idril a bit more. She really does deserve some of the best gear you got. She's just ridiculously good. She's so good. And yeah, I'm just messing about at the moment. I haven't really pushed too hard. I need to farm more gear. I'm starting to push into gear a bit more farming after wasting so much time in Artifact Material Raid. But that's kind of my gearing situation covered, I guess. Next, we'll talk about Void Rift a bit. So I'm currently in Nightmare Void Rift. I'm trying to beat this boss again on Nightmare, of course, the second phase, Ludwig. I was just having a bit of trouble with it. I can't remember what it was. There was something messy going on, but I haven't tried a great deal. So I'm going to try and fix that this week and get through there, but shouldn't be too hard. So I think I can just about push through Nightmare most weeks. I don't think I'll be able to beat the new phase 2, but I haven't tried it yet on Nightmare. Besides that, obviously I've cleared all of the artifact material raid. I'll just show you my auto. It's a pretty quick auto just so you can get an idea of what I'm doing. I've probably broke the gear, so if this is relying on Wrath tanking, this is not going to go very well. Okay, it's Captain Reeve. Oh right, yeah. I did that. I used Captain Reeve and Razak just so I could get more XP and gold, just to, you know, get that tiny bit more, because I don't have enough stamina to farm this forever, so having the fastest run isn't that important. I just wanted to min-max the little amount of gold and XP I would get from it. So having both of these guys in the party means that I'm getting a little bit of bonus XP and a little bit of bonus gold. It's something, right? But anyway, you can see it's just Salazar and Zillitu doing all the damage. Besides that, my faction trial, I haven't actually finished it. I need to do the final one of Esotericist. I didn't actually try this yet, so I need to give this a proper go. But I think I'm going to have trouble with it. I've heard a lot of people have trouble with this because you only really have Karmet built as a damage dealer. So I need to look into sorting someone else out. And that's why apparently they've buffed Nazim as a damage dealer, is because the new Esotericist faction trial is a bit tricky, so you do need more damage dealers. So either I'll build him or I might just build my Raiden, because Raiden feels pretty cool. I did test him in Gear Raid 1 and he was actually quite effective. Not crazy, worse than Iona still, but he actually was reasonable damage. So yeah, I might build him, use him in conjunction with Karma, and you could use Ai. I've heard people say good things about Ai, so I might build her as well to help me in the new Esotericist faction trial. But I'll probably make some videos on that when it comes out, just to help show how I'm doing it at least. So aside from that, I guess there's Guild Boss. So at the moment my Nightmare Free team is getting about 30k blood. Predominantly it's Zillitu things, then I have Hex and Salazar, Deimos. That was Deimos without a piece, by the way. My idiot self had no chest piece equipped on him, so he was doing pretty good. Then I have Setram, because I don't think he's in very optimal gear. And then of course we have Pyros. Volker and Wrath just being pushed in to drop Invigoration on a fighter and then being despawned after giving the Nightmare attack speed bonus. So that's my team. It's the same in Nightmare 4. I did not hit 62k. That is 2 attacks. I am really lazy with Guild Boss. I should be putting more time into it. It's just I'm pretty certain that with my stuff I can't make 50k blood. I need to farm better gear. So once I get some better gear, I'll probably actually put some effort into Guild Boss and try to tidy my team up and optimize things. But until I get the better gear, I don't care enough to bother. I hit 30k, that's a cool enough milestone for me. I'll figure it out and do 50k later one day, maybe when I get some better gear and maybe get a Silas or a Valeria to help me out. So aside from that, I guess that kind of just leaves the gear raids. So this is my Gear Raid 1 auto, just to show you how it functions. I think I might have bricked something, so we'll see if this works still. I haven't actually tidied this up, so this is exactly the run that I beat it with the first time. So I went Karmet and Dolores first, because I wanted Karmet's ult up. Viona's ult comes up quick, so you can see they're both ready at the same time. Then I can ult with Dolores and Karmet to get as much damage out as possible, and then near the end of the ult, if they're still alive, I ult with Viona. But I guess, you know, they died too quick. So if she ults immediately, it's because she should have been ulting the previous one, but they were all dead. So we'll see what she does. Yeah, okay, yeah. So that ult should have been at the first wave. It's just the auto with the power of dominance kind of screwed up the rotation. But generally you can see I saved my ult until this point because these guys hit so hard on the wall. So that's why my burst damage was saved for them. I don't know why this ult is here. I think that probably was meant to freeze those guys, but something got out of sync. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure. It's been a while since I did this. I just set up the auto and didn't look at it again because I kind of had enough. Something weird I did in my Gear Raid 1. I had Zealous over here. Normally you would have a Laurel over on the right side to boost the rage, but I tried that. I tried despawning her with Volker to reduce the spawn time. I tried keeping her up to offer rage regen, and I just couldn't get it to work. But having a strong Zealous, and like he was in gear, now he's in like, I've taken some parts of his gear off. He was actually doing notable damage. So I found this worked best, and it allowed me to get my Mari's ult up a lot. So the rage regen on Mari was actually helping a lot. She was getting her ult up and she was just spam freezing. And it was buying me enough time to whittle the enemies down, burst them out, and kill them. So for me, that worked better. Most people tend to have their Laurel, on the right side instead of Zealous over there. But this is what I made work at the time. I think it's a lot easier if you have a Tear of Starlight, which is my eternal grudge. But that's it. That's the run. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing crazy. I'm using some really good heroes. Unfortunately, no awakenings on Viona for the magic resistance reduction, which is like a defense break for magic damage. That would help a lot, but alas, no dice. But I do have Eloin. I have all of the other really cookie heroes, so it's a pretty good team. I will probably push for stage 21 at some point, but I really need to get some of the Gear Raid free sets on my mages, and ideally pick up a Tear of Starlight for the attack to overcome the ridiculous resistance that they give them. You can see it's a pretty even split between Viona and Karmet on damage. Zealous would be higher if he was in proper gear. As for my Gear Raid 2, it's on 21. I beat this pretty quick, actually, really quick. I think like 6 weeks into the game, maybe a bit more, actually. Whenever we got Volker, I don't remember how long it took us to get Volker, but I think within a couple days of getting Volker, I beat stage 21. I beat 20 and 21 back to back the same night, I think. Just because it's a pretty easy strategy. As long as you've got a tanky enough Vortex and you have enough damage on like a Vienna or a Hatzer, you can make this work. This wasn't too tricky because of, you know, a pretty cheesy strategy. I'm actually working on a video series where on my Discord I've asked people to submit videos of their gear raid runs. So ideally 19 to 21 is the focus. And the goal is to show teams that are slightly more accessible. So, and by more accessible, I mean not laden with legendary lords, not like A3 to A5 heroes, stuff that the average player might get an idea of. That doesn't mean they're going to be super free to play friendly, because I know a lot of people expect that. But these end game stages, you're not going to just break super easily unless you have some of the best heroes or some really good gear. It has to be one of the two. You're not going to beat it with rubbish heroes and rubbish gear. One of the two things has to be doing the work. So hopefully those videos, I'm going to compile them together, give everyone credit, link whatever they want me to link in the video, in the description, pinned comment, etc. I don't want to hog any credit from anyone. I just want to show some more strategies and hopefully use this channel as a way of showing more ways of doing content, because my videos are going to be aimed at explaining a certain strategy, explaining the ways I've done it and why. But it's really, I see a lot of comments and people saying, oh, I use a similar strategy, but I did this instead of this. And then there'll be responses of people saying, oh, I did that as well, thanks, that worked. So I just want to spread some extra strategies around, I guess, to help people get through the stages. That's the goal, to help people pass the stages. So that's something in the works at the moment. I've had some really cool submissions from some people on the Discord. I'm really excited to show some of Jimix's content, some of his video clips of, especially his Gear Raid 3 stages are really cool, so you can look forward to that. Or you can burn his ears about it if you know him. There should be some really cool strategies coming up. There should be some cool little videos to be shown. Salazar's way overtuned here just because he killed the boss at the end. But that's something that I'm planning to work on fairly soon, depending on the videos I get. But if you want to add a video to the video, I'm just going to compile them all in one and explain the strategies. Then feel free to message me on Discord with a link. I have a format on my Discord with it. So yeah, just reach out to me if it's something you're interested in. It's just an idea I'm messing about with at the moment, but I think it might help people, so it could be quite cool. This is my Gear Raid 3 Stage 19 run. It's only 19, unfortunately, as I've slacked massively. I just, honestly, I didn't have Silas, and I was just like, I'm not willing to spend the hours to figure out 20 or 21 without Silas. You can do it, and you'll see that in the video, but I'm just not willing to throw the hours into it at the moment. I don't have the time in the day to do that, but you can definitely do it without those heroes. The main key is Idril. Idril is just ridiculous. She is so powerful. She can absolutely just decimate content. So I'm going to focus and put a bit more love into my Idril, mess about with Dolores and Autumn, and maybe do some cool things with that, and I should be able to beat 20. But you'll see that in that future video whenever it comes. It might be a while yet. I'm waiting for some more people to add videos, though we do have a pretty good list at the moment. But now that the boss in the middle is dead, the rest of the run is pretty straightforward. I had Vienna on the left, I think, because when I beat this, I was still progressing quite a lot, and I didn't have that many heroes built. So when I don't have very many heroes available, I try to just, rather than moving gear around, I just try to use the heroes I've got. So I don't think Vienna is the best on the left at all, and she won't work in 20 or 21. The magic resistance is way too high. So it only really works in this stage, but it was just because those are the heroes I had geared at the time, and I haven't gone back and fixed it. But as you can see, even with not the best gear, not even a proper set, Idril is just doing so much work. So that's where I am currently on the account. I'm missing 21 in Gear Raid 1. I'm missing 20 and 21 in Gear Raid 3. I've got Gear Raid 2 down. In Guild Boss, I'm at the second last chest. I'm doing 30k blood. I need to get to 50k blood. Those are the things I need to work on, mainly Gear Raid 3 and Guild Boss. But I admittedly am dragging my feet a lot with a lot of stuff, because I kind of bounce between a bunch of different servers and accounts. But that's it. That's what I wanted to show you guys, just to show you where I am, where things stand on my account. I farmed a whole bunch of artifacts, as you can see, that I don't have the Mithril to upgrade. I do really want to get some more of these Crystal of Vileness so I can put it on my Zilla too, but I want to get a bit more than 2 copies before I start doing that. But unfortunately, they're not dropping that often for me. And I would like to build up my Nether Messenger when I get some more. So that's it. I don't know what else to really show or talk about. My Pantheon is this upgraded, if you were curious. It's quite a lot of rage regen in here, actually. That's kind of interesting to keep in mind. That's it. I don't think there's anything else to show you. There's no burning thing I want to go over. I just, a few people had asked about it, so I thought I would show it. Here's all my ancients. Oh, let me show you the ancient that broke my soul. 1 second. This is important. I need people to know how upsetting this was. Look at this, guys. Anyway, that's it for the video. Just a quick, easy little video just to show you where I'm at in the game. I'm still enjoying it. This is like the third or fourth time I've played through the game now, so I'm slowing down a little bit, to be honest. I need to get myself back into shape and push some stuff some more. So I'm going to be putting out some more videos. I'm probably going to focus on some cool heroes just to show that. But if there's anything you really want to see, then let me know and I'll see if I can dig anything up interesting or make a video to go over anything that you find that you want to discuss or you want discussed. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.